morning, everyone. This is Bremster, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle called MissingNo by Wisteria Fall. I've spent a bit of time recently hanging out with Wisteria or Wisteria Fall, and I've looked at a few of his puzzles, and we've created some puzzles together, and it's been a lot of fun. But I think this is the first puzzle of his that I've actually featured on the channel. I should check that sort of thing before I go forward. I definitely don't have a good enough memory to know for sure. But this is a puzzle that Wisteria sent through to me. He actually sent a couple of other puzzles through to me as well. And I was looking at one of them, and it was featured by Cracking the Cryptic. And I thought that you should basically go check out his puzzle Deja Vu, which was covered by Mark of Cracking the Cryptic, rather than watch me do the same puzzle, considering he sent me a different puzzle through, which is this one, MissingNo. And I thought I would just do this one instead. That way you get two puzzles for the price of one. You get two puzzles because you can go watch Mark solve the other one. So, what else have we got going on? We're only a couple of days now away from me stopping accepting answer or solution codes from the Polarizing Sudoku Puzzle Pack. I know it feels like it's been going on forever, but there were 50 puzzles in that pack, and I don't like racing people through packs. There was a lot of content in there. I've received a lot of solution codes from people who said, I tried the walks in the park and then I stopped. That seems to be a bit of a trend. But we do try and stage the difficulties so that the hard walks in the parks and the easy scenic hikes are about the same. I do mean to do a video on the difficulty ratings that we use and how it all hangs together, because I think it is actually useful. So I think you would be able to continue if you just stopped at the end of the walks in the parks. You may want some help, and even if the pack is done, go to the Puzzle Plaza Discord and check out in the Bremster discussion channel, where there'll be people who are willing to help you. Yeah, so you've only got a couple more days on that one. When my video comes out on the 24th of June, that's when I will no longer be accepting solution codes. But still keep doing the puzzles. They're good puzzles. We are working on the next pack, but that's probably not going to come out until August or September. So hopefully there'll be other packs and stuff for me to drop in that other people have done in the other months. I don't know if I'll do prizes or anything for them. We'll see. Anyway, MissingNo by Wisteria Fall. Apparently it's a Pokemon reference. I don't get it. So there's two rules in effect. So we've got, three really. Normal Sudoku rules. In every box, in every... Pardon me, in every row and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. We have killer cages without digits, and what that basically means is in each of these cages, you cannot repeat digits. Normally with killer cages, you would say that they sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage. We do not have any numbers, so we do not know what the totals are. So what it's telling us is that digits, pardon me, may not repeat within cages. This thing has hit my chest and it's staying there forever. Well, maybe not forever, but it's been there for weeks now. So yes, digits may not repeat within cages. And then we've got these blue lines, which are region sum lines. Some people call them equal sum lines, though apparently that was a different constraint. So yeah. And these region sum lines mean that the lines will have an equal sum on every box that they pass through. And if they pass through a box, it's not relevant in this, but and what that means is these three cells, so I'm using this line as an example, these three cells here, so let's mark that in yellow, will have the same sum as those two cells, which will have the same sum as those three cells, because those are all on the same line and they are in three different boxes. Now, and other important rules to note with region sum lines, not relevant for this puzzle, is if a line was to pass through a box more than once, so if it was to loop back into a box, normally that means that the individual segments will each have that total individually, but that's not relevant in this puzzle. And the lines are all individual, so this line will have a different sum to this line. That's each line is handled independently. So they're the rules. I'm going to restart my timer and let's give this sorry about that, everyone. About 2 minutes into the solve, I had a massive coughing fit, and rather than put you through that and try and figure it all out, I'm just going to start the solve again. So yeah, it's just easier. So let's give this a shot. So I hadn't found much. What I had found is this is a 9 length cage, and it's completely filled by a region sum line. So it must contain all the digits from 1 to 9. So all of the digits from 1 to 9 sum to 45. The region sum line passes through 3 boxes. So 45 divided by 3 is 15, so we know that all of the segments in this sum to 15. Now, 15 and 5 can only be done with 1 to 5, which means, and 15 in 2 can only be done 2 ways, which are 6, 9, and 7, 8. So these are 6, 7, 8, and 9, which puts 6, 7, 8, 9 into those cells, because these had to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But I'd also discovered that this is a 9-cell region sum, and these can't sum to 15 because there's an extra cell. So I cannot let this get as high as 15, so I cannot put a 9 in here, because if I put a 9 in here, this immediately gets as high as 15. So I cannot put a 9 in here. And if I was to make this 8, 7, I'm already as high as 15, so there must be a 6. So there cannot be a 6 in here, there must be a 9, and that's basically as far as I got before I ran into a massive coughing fit and had to stop. So now I'm trying to figure out what is next. So this is either 6, 7, which is 13. 13 times 3 is 39, which would make this a 6, which it can't be. If this is 6, 7, 13 by 3 is 39, this would be a 6, but I've already used the 6. This cannot be a 6. So this cannot be 6, 7. So this has to be 6, 8. 6, 8 is 14. 14 times 3 is 42. This is a 3. There is no 8 in here. This is 7, 9. Does that get me anything at all? So these will sum to 14. One of them will contain a 9, one of them will contain a 7. I'm not sure. This isn't 3 now, so it's 1, 2, 4, or 5. Is it this region sum? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So this is another one that sums to 9. So this can't be 15, or that is 0. And it can't be as low as 11, because 11 would get me to 33, and that would be a 12. So this is a 12, a 13, or a 14. So this is a 3, 6, or a 9, which would complete the totals. Because if it's 12, this gets to 36, and that needs to be a 9. 13 means that that has to be a 6, and 14 means that has to be a 3. Time for calculator, I think. Now, 12, 13, 14 in 2 needs 7, 8, 9. So there must be an 8 in here. So this can't be 7, 8. This is 6, 9. And this can't be 6, 9. This is 7, 8. But one of these has to have 7 and one of these has to have 9. So this now has the 9 and this now has the 7. Now this sums to 14. So 9 would need another 5, which could be 1, 4, or 2, 3. It can't be 2. This is 1, 4, 9. Because I can't use 2, 3 because there's a 3 up there. So this is what's left. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 2, 5, 7, which does some, yep, that's good. And this now has to sum to 12, 13, or 14. So hang on. Except if it's 14, it's 8, 6, and it can't be. If it's 13, it's 8, 5, and it can't be. So this has to be 8, 4, and the total of this is 12. 12, 12, and 12 is 36. This is 9. This is not 9. That's really clever. And these are 1 and 3. That is really clever. So these are 12. So this is a 12. I'm going back to my calculator. I'm still recovering from being sick, guys. So I'm sorry if you think this is weak math, but these are 12. So I can't use 9, 3. I can't use 8, 4. So this is 7, 5. And these are the digits that are left over, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, 1, 2, 3, and 6, which does sum to 12. 9 is in here because the 9s are lining up. In fact, I can't put 6 there, so 6 is down here somewhere. I can't put 2 there. So the 2 is in here. So I can't put 2 there. So this is 1, 3, 4, or 5. I can't be 4 either. In fact, that's the only place in this row I can put a 5. So there's no 5 there. So these cells, I can't use 1, 2, 3. I can use 4. I can't use 5, 6, 7, or 8. So that is 4, 9. That's the only possibility. 1, 2, 3 are gone. 4 is available. 5 is used. 6, 7, and 8 are used. This has to be 4, 9. So this is 1 or 3. Hang on, 1, 4, 9. That can't be 1 or 4. That's a 2. So these are 1, 3, and 4. Which gives me a 1, 3, 4 triple, which makes sense because this is now a triple, which is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, and 8. And that's an 8 because there's a 5, 7 pair looking at it. 4, 9. This is 13. 13. I'm probably going to want my calculator for this, aren't I? So I want all of the options for 13. I can't use 9. So anything, I can't use 9, 5, 7, 4, or 9. So if I don't use it, let's try it without. If I don't use an 8, then I end up with 6, 3, and 2. 6, 3, and 2 is 11. That's not enough. So I must use an 8. Now, if I use an 8, if I then put a 6 in, 8 and 6 is 14. I'm only going for 13. So I can't use a 6. 5, 4. So 8, 3, 2 is the next. And 8 and 3, 2 is 8 and 5, which is the same as 9 and 4. So this is 2, 3, 8. There's no 5. 2, 3, 8. That is what this is made up of. It has to be. So there's no 2, 3 there. And these are known. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Which means that's the 9 and that's the 4. There's no 1 or 6 there. This is a 2 or a 3. 6 now must be in there. So this is 1, 4, 6. If I don't put a 6 in here, then these 3 cells would have to sum to 5, and that's blatantly impossible. So there must be a 6 in here. There's no 6 there. Now, if this is 7, 6, 1, then this would have to be 1, 2, 4, but I've already used the 1. So there's no 1 in here. This is 4, 6, and this is the 1, which takes the 1 out of there. Now, these have to sum to 10. But there's lots of ways of doing that. There's lots of ways of doing 10. Because I can use a 1, I can use a 2, I can use a 3, can't use a 4 or a 6. So do I look at these cells? 1, 2, 3, 5, and 6. Well, that can't be 5. Thing is, that could even be as low as 2, 3, because I could put 1, 4 in there, I think. That might conflict with that. So these have to sum to at least 15, which still means that that could be 2, 3 with that. So 9 is up here somewhere. 8 is up here somewhere. This is feeling kind of fruitless. Oh, wait, 7s. 7s are lining up. I can't put 7 in any of those. I have to put 7 in here, but this is a 10 line. So that's 1, 2, 7, which means that's a 4, that's a 9, that's a 1. There's no 2 in any of those. There's no 2 there. That 4 is making that 6 and that 4. There's no 6 there. That's a 3, that's a 5. That's an 8. There's no 8 in any of those. 1, 2, 7. So there's no 3 or 5 there. This is 2 or 6. That was huge. Not easy to see, but huge. Did that have any impact? Yeah, the 3 makes that 1, and that 4 and that 3, which makes that 1 and that 3, which means there's no 1 there. That's a 3, which means that's a 2. That's not 2 or 3. This is a 1, 6 pair. This line. Now, if this is 7, this can't be 1, 6. It couldn't be 2, 5 because I'd have repeated it in the box, and it can't be 3, 4. So this is a 6. So this is a 2. This is a 3. This is a 2. There's a 3 in one of those 2. So these have to sum to 11. They can't be 9, 2. They could be 8, 3 in that order. They can't be 7, 4, and they can't be 5, 6. This is 8 and 3, which puts 3 in one of those 2. 8, 3 makes that 7 and makes that 8, which makes that 5 and that 7. This row is now complete except for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9. Yep, okay. So this is now 1, 2, no, 3 is there. 4, 5, and 6. That 9 is making that 7 and that 9. Okay, this is a triple now. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 9. That's not helping. This is a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8. And it must contain a 5. Is this not resolved? Oh, it is. That's 6. That makes that 8 and that 6, which takes 6 out of there. That's a 5-8 pair. Of course, there was a 6 here. I couldn't have put a 6 up here anyway. Pay more attention. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So 1, 4, 7 are in this. So they can't be in those cells. So they have to be in those cells. Well, 1 can't go there. So that's a 1. That is not a 1. That's a 1. So this is 3, 4, 7. And that's not a 3. Three, 4, 7 means that's a 2 and that's a 7. That's not a 2 or a 7. That's a 5. There's no 5 in there. There's no 5 there. That's a 6 and that's an 8 because of the 4 coming out of them. That's the 4. There's no 6 in there. That 4 makes that 5 and that 4. The 7 makes that 2 and that 7. And the 6, 9 seems to be unresolved. This is 1, 2, 4, 6 and must contain 2 and 4. So that's a 7. Because that was down to 4 or 7, but 4 has to appear up here for the column, and that's in the same cage. That is a 7. This is a 3, 4. This cage is now done with, except possibly this line. So if this is... There has to be a 7 on this, because if this was 1, 4, it'd be 5. This couldn't be 1, 4 because there's 1, 4s in the box, but it couldn't be 2, 3 because the 3 is over here. So there must be a 7 on there. There is no... Oh, this is a 4 because of that. So this is actually 1, 7 totaling 8. So 8 along here. I can't use 1, 7. I could use 2, 6 in that order. I can't use 3, 5, and 4, 4 is not possible. This is 2 and 6, which means that's not 2, 6. That's 9. They're not 9. So these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 8, and 9. Well, there's no 8 in there, so there is an 8 in there. So that's 5, that's 9, that's 5, that's 8. That is not 8. Three has to be in one of those two by Sudoku. And that's very clever because 3 is in one of those two. That has to be a 4 because 3 is in those cells, but only one of them can go in the cage. So the 3 is either in those two cells or those two cells, and it can't be in those two cells or I've doubled 3 in the cage. Those are the 3s. Very clever. That is 1. There is no 1 in there. In fact, that makes that the 6 and that the 1, which takes 6 out of there, and that actually becomes the 2, 4. That 4 makes that the 2 and that the 4. The 2 makes that the 6 and that the 2. This one, 7, is resolved by the 1. That is the 7 and that is the 1. The 9 looks down, making that the 6 and that the 9. This is resolved now. It's not 9. That's not 9 either. That is 9. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which makes that the 7 and that the 5. This is the final box now. In this column, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And these are 7 and 8, and that is the 7, that is the 8, and that is MissingNo by Wisteria Fall. Thank you for sending me that puzzle. That was very, very cool. I really liked the break-in with these cages, and the fact that the region sum could interact with valueless cages the way it did. That that was very, very cool. It was, yeah, I did enjoy that. It yeah, I am looking forward to being able to do puzzles like that a bit more in my head. But that was a lot of fun. Oh, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed the puzzle, and as always, good luck with your solving.